Okay, look, I know I usually start my videos off with a disclaimer, but this is just so far from anything that I would have ever expected, I'm actually speechless. No, stop, we're not even gonna do a title card for this. Okay, oh god, where do I start? Okay, so this video is gonna be covering a lot of stuff. I'm reluctant to call this an update week video just because it's so much more than another update and it'll probably be its own dedicated video. We've got a lot of stuff to cover. First is the Easter event. We've got that going on right now. Second is the gigantic list of changes. And third is, well, you can probably guess if you read the title. If you can't tell, I've written this whole video script in a bit of a hurry because it's just so much to cover and it's so much stuff that it's just like, it shocks you a little bit. Alright, so first off, let's start with the big stuff. Earlier today, well, the day I'm recording this, Brody announced that the game has now been rebranded to PokeNexus, which caught everyone completely off guard. It's still the exact same game, it's just under a different name and had a form art style tweak. The big question that everyone is asking is, why the hell did they do this? Well, legal reasons. For now, the old Pokemon Planet links are going to redirect you back to the new website, but eventually they won't work anymore. I'd recommend updating your bookmarks to the new website link. Additionally, after the Easter event ends, they'll be moving to a strictly downloadable client, which will apparently only be downloadable from the Discord. This means that after the Easter event ends, playing directly from your browser won't be possible anymore, which I'm really sad to see go because it was one of the big drawing points of the game. The downloadable client is only going to support Windows computers for the first week or so, with Mac and Linux support coming shortly afterwards. As for Chromebook and Chrome OS players, they're planning support for that as well. Whether it's going to have its own downloadable client or maybe a workaround with APK files, we're not exactly sure yet. They haven't really released enough information about it other than it's happening. They'll also be rolling out new support for mobile devices through the use of an app, so PokeNexus will probably come out soon on Google Play and the App Store. At this point in time, Android support is 100% confirmed, with iOS support being a possibility. Who knows, this might bring in a whole new player base of mobile players. For everyone that's planning to continue playing within the next few weeks or so, you can still play on your browser, but you'll have to manually log in each time you want to play. But it'll still work fine on your browser until then. We don't have the download client yet, that'll come out in a few weeks. It's such a shock, man. You know, a complete 180 by both changing the name and playing methods, it's just honestly a little crazy. I completely understand why they did it, legal action is always scary, and I think they took the best course of action, but I think a lot of us freaked out a bit when we first saw the initial announcement. But if you're still planning to play the game, you can play just fine. Let me know what you all think of the whole rebrand down in the comments and whether or not you'll still be playing. Okay, aside from that, we've got a huge patch that comes with this. Let's just go down the list. It starts off with a note about world bosses. World bosses are not planned to be re-implemented in the near future as other things have taken priority. In light of this, they've now added some of the world boss exclusive charms into the casino and tournament prizes. The casino is definitely the most accessible, only being holy shit, those are expensive. For context, the original highest priced casino item was 350,000 casino tokens. These are just wow. The highest jackpot prize you can possibly get from a 100k bet is 5 million. So I guess if you get super lucky, you'll be able to get your hands on one of these charms, but still, like, holy crap. On the more reasonable side of things, they've also been added to the tournament prize pool with a 3% chance of being selected as a prize. On top of that, the greed charm will now increase the drop rate of megastones, albeit at a reduced rate. Instead of a 100% increase, it's only a 20% increase. This increase also applies to event mount drops, but that's a whole other topic that we'll cover in just a bit. Overall, I'm glad that they've given some previously unobtainable charms new obtainment methods, but like 3.5 mil for one charm? I mean, I guess it should be expected considering how good these charms are. Overall, not too bad of a change, and the Megastone drop rate change is nice. Speaking of Megastones, they've added a brand new Megastone. The Heracronite is a tournament prize as well as a drop on certain Easter event maps. The Abomasite and Glalie have also been added as tournament prizes, and the Gladite has had its price chopped down from 250,000 casino tokens to 175,000 casino tokens. They've also changed how the ability Compound Eyes works. Before this change, it increased the drop rate of all items across the board, which ended up only giving people a lot more common drops than anything. Compound Eyes has now been changed to act a lot like the Greed Charm. Basically, when you lead with a Pokemon with the ability Compound Eyes, you'll now get a 30% increased chance to get a drop from a wild Pokemon with no guaranteed drops, a 20% increase to the chance of getting a high quality drop like bird feathers, Pokemon exclusive items, etc., and a 10% increased chance of getting Megastone drops on maps. 2 of these effects stack with drop rate blessings, and all of them stack with the Greed Charm. Personally, I kinda like this change. It cuts out a lot of the random useless drops and allows players to have a chance of getting more good drops rather than junk. Next is a bit of a smaller change, but probably one of my favorites in the entire patch. They've re-added the Pokeball icon next to wild Pokemon health bars to let you know whether or not you've caught it. This was removed a while back, and I'm super glad I don't have to recheck my Pokedex every time I encounter a Pokemon I don't think I have. Okay, the last section talks about the changes made to the credit shop, and this is it's just bizarre. They've introduced credit vouchers, which basically acts as a way to trade over credits to other players. Just a small note, your total number of credits will not be impacted by using a credit voucher, so you can't just spam credit vouchers to get the supporter or sponsor rank. Each credit voucher costs a certain amount of credits and will give you that certain amount when used. For example, the 500 credit voucher costs 500 credits and will give 500 credits when it's used. 1,000 costs you 1,000, you get it. Okay, hi, this is Andrew during editing. I just want to slide a quick little note in here that I missed. Apparently, the credit vouchers can be sold on the global marketplace, which is just crazy to think about. This is the first time you're ever able to buy credits with actual in-game money, so it's just a little crazy. I just thought I'd mention it. Back to the video. Next is something I would have never thought they would add, which are starter Pokemon boxes. These have been added to the credit shop for 800 credits and give a random starter Pokemon from Gens 1 through 6, excluding Pikachu and Eevee. On top of that, there's a 1% chance that you'll receive a onesie of the starter you get alongside the starter itself. Existing decorative boxes have been renamed to Legacy decorative boxes, and have been removed from all loot tables, such as item bombs. The Legacy decorative box basically works the exact same as it used to. In place of these deco boxes, new deco boxes have been added to the game for 500 credits. This is really weird because previously you could only get deco boxes through things like item bombs and mystery boxes, so it's odd to see them in the credit shop. When opened, these deco boxes give a random decorative item from the credit shop, excluding event decos, of course. However, you now also have a 1% chance of getting a jackpot while opening a deco box. These jackpots will give you one of 24 exclusive decorative items that you can't get anywhere else in the game. They've also added a new item to the game. The shiny lure has been added to the credit shop for 1,000 credits. This item increases the shiny chance of wild Pokemon by 25% for everyone on a given map. This effect lasts for 1 hour. Think of it like honey, but for shiny Pokemon. However, these only apply to specifically wild encounters and do not affect the shiny rate of rolled Pokemon. Additionally, the command /honey has been replaced with /lures, which will show you all active honey and shiny lures. And lastly, honey has had its price increased to 750 credits, the 7-day GM ticket has been increased to 500 credits, and the 30-day GM ticket has been increased to 1,500 credits. And they added a goddamn train. If you want my opinion on all these changes, I can definitely see a lot of people being upset at the fact that they've increased prices again. I don't typically buy credits, so this doesn't affect me much, but I can definitely see people being pissed about it. I think the credit vouchers are fine. I think it's nice if you want to gift stuff to people. In my opinion, the starter Pokemon box was totally unnecessary. Not a fan of this one. The new deco boxes are pretty nice though. Overall, a lot of really game-changing patches today. It's kind of insane. Let me know what you all think of these patches down in the comments below. And lastly, we've got the Easter event. This year's event is completely different from previous year's events, so let's just jump straight into it. The Easter event starts on March 27th and will end on April 17th. This gives you about 3 weeks to enjoy all of the content that's offered from this year's event. As always, to access the event map, you can simply talk to the Easter Sailor in any Pokemon Center to be taken to the event map. Though this year it's different, as you can just head to any map directly from the sailor instead of having to traverse the map every time. In order to access the event map, you must have first beaten all 8 Kanto gyms and received all 8 badges. Mystical Forest is the basic map that everyone has access to. Here you can catch a few exclusive Pokemon and the event exclusive legendary, Celebi. You can also go pick up an exclusive event decorative item here, but we'll get to that in just a moment. Easter Paradise is one of 3 new maps added during this event. It requires you to have 400 caught entries in your Pokedex and is themed around grass, bug, flying, and water-type Pokemon. The exclusive legendary for this map is Shaman, available through all methods of grinding, including surfing and fishing. Additionally, every Pokemon on this map has a 1 in 50,000 chance to drop the Heracronite Mega Stone. Regirock Cavern is a map that requires you to also have 400 caught entries in your Pokedex. This map is themed around grass, bug, ground, rock, and water-type Pokemon. The exclusive legendaries for this map are Regirock on land and Celebi through surfing and fishing. Additionally, every Pokemon on this map has a 1 in 50,000 chance to drop the Heracronite as well. And lastly, Faraway Forest is a map that requires you to have 600 caught entries in your Pokedex as well as an old sea map in your inventory. You can pick up an old sea map for 125 elite tokens from the elite shop at the Indigo Plateau. This map is themed around grass, bug, psychic, and water-type Pokemon. The exclusive legendary for this map is Mew. Additionally, every Pokemon on this map has a 1 in 50,000 chance of dropping the Beedrillite. As is standard with events, the Pokemon on all event maps scale with your current team level. Event legendaries also have a boosted encounter chance of 1 in 100,000 instead of 1 in 125,000. Before we do anything, I highly recommend going and getting the free decorative item from the event gym. This year, it's the Superior Tail. It's exclusive to this year's event, and you won't be able to get it ever again. To get to the gym, start from Mystical Forest 1 and head east to Mystical Forest 2 and up to Mystical Forest 3. Then take a straight shot left through Mystical Cave to get to Mystical Forest 4. Then it's just a straight shot down to get to Mystical Forest 5. The gym is directly in the center, so you can't miss it. Heading into the gym, you'll be met with a maze of Easter eggs. It's not too hard to get through, just follow my lead and you'll get to the gym leader. The gym leader's team consists of Serperior, Meganium, Shaman, Venusaur, Virizion, and Celebi. All shiny, of course. The gym leader's team level is your max level -1, so you don't have to worry about being underleveled or overleveled. After defeating the gym leader, you'll get the Superior Tail. With the gym defeated, you're pretty much set to enjoy the rest of the event. While grinding on the event map, you're able to find a couple of exclusive Pokemon. You can catch Audino, Bunnelby, Minccino, and Baneri as rares, and Celebi as a legendary. The rares can also be found on every map in the game while the event is going on. I highly recommend picking these up while you have the chance, as you won't be able to get them until next year's event. All rare Pokemon during the event are guaranteed to drop Easter eggs, which are basically a little mystery box that you can open yourself to get a prize. These can give you anything from common items such as Pokeballs and potions, to rarer items such as GM tickets and IV resets. This applies to every rare Pokemon on every map. Now let's talk decorative items. There's a lot of new and exclusive decorative items available during this event, and some of them are a little insane to try and get. First, there's obviously the Superior Tail that you can get by defeating the gym. Then there's obviously the credit shop decorative items and mounts, which you can get by donating to the game and receiving credits. Next, while grinding in the Mystical Forest maps, there's a 1 in 10,000 chance that a wild Pokemon will drop one of 2 special decorative items exclusive to this year's event. These are the Kricketune mustache and the Weepinbell hat. Then we've got a couple mounts that have been given a completely new way of obtaining them. In the 3 new areas they've added, you now have a chance to get one of 3 specific mounts to drop from wild Pokemon in each area. In Easter Paradise, you have a chance of getting the Shaman mount and the Shiny Shaman mount. In Regirock Cave, you have a chance of getting the Regirock mount and the Shiny Regirock mount. And in Faraway Forest, you have a chance of getting the Surfer Mew mount and the Shiny Surfer Mew mount. All of these can be dropped from any wild Pokemon on their respective maps. Now, I want you to take a wild guess on the drop rate of these mounts. Just take a guess. 1 in 5,000? 1 in 10,000? Maybe 1 in 50,000? Nope. Yeah. And the shiny ones are even worse. 1 in a million? That's crazy. That's the lowest drop rate we've seen for anything in the game. Hell, even any rate in the game, period. Though, these mounts have a caveat. These mounts plan to come back throughout each Easter event. So if you're unlucky during this event, you might get it next event. But still, 1 in a million is like, holy crap. During this event, there will be a 2x legendary weekend starting on April 5th at 4 p.m. server time, and ending on April 8th at 4 p.m. server time. This means that every single legendary Pokemon will have their encounter chances doubled from 1 in 125,000 to around 1 in 62,000. Or if you're hunting for an event legendary, which most of you are likely going to be, it's around 1 in 50,000. Legendary chances are also doubled for Pokemon boxes. There will also be a 2x shiny weekend starting on April 12th at 4 p.m. server time and will end on April 15th at 4 p.m. server time. This means that shiny rates will be doubled for all encounters during that weekend. This also includes Pokemon rolled from shops, rolled from eggs or Pokemon boxes, fossil Pokemon, and rolled mounts from the credit shop. One more thing that's exclusive to the Easter events is the addition of the Lucky Egg to the credit shop for 2,000 credits. The Lucky Egg boosts battle experience by 25% when held by your lead Pokemon. This item comes back every Easter event, so don't worry if you miss it. And lastly, there's a couple more things that I'll quickly go over, as it's just standard stuff for all events. Experience has been boosted globally by 50%. This means regardless of where you are in the game, you'll still be getting that 50% boost. This boost also stacks with other boosts such as Altar Blessings. If you're trying to level up your Pokemon quickly, I highly recommend grinding on the event maps. The wild Pokemon here scale with your level, however it caps out at level 83. Treasure chests are also going to be spawning more frequently. And finally, credit donations have been given a 10% boost during the event. So if you're planning to buy credits, I would do it now. Okay, I think that's finally everything that needs to be covered. I just want to close off this video by saying that this patch feels different. It's such a drastic change, but it sorta needed to be done. The rebranding to PokeNexus just feels weird, right? Like it's the end of an era. Like it's the same game, yet it feels so different. I started playing this game all the way back in 2017, and it's so weird to not refer to it as Pokemon Planet anymore. I also feel that there's so much uncertainty for the future of the game. We could either go the optimistic route and say that the game could keep a stable community, which knowing this community might actually happen, or we could go somewhere a little bit more pessimistic. What's the general player base gonna think of these changes long term? Will some of the new changes break the in-game market? What's gonna happen? I don't know. Hell, I don't even know what to do with my own videos. All of them have Pokemon Planet in their title and thumbnail, but even if I change those, it'll still be branded as Pokemon Planet content since I said the game's old name in almost every intro. And it's not like I have the raw project files for these videos either, especially not ones that are over an hour long like the Legendary Guide and the Mossy Cave Guide. If you have any suggestions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. It's gonna take a lot of adjusting for both me and you. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Your support means the world to me, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.